Hello folks, I'm Ed Overstreet and welcome to the Night Sky Imaging YouTube channel, and it's daytime. I am currently imaging the sun, and as you can see behind me, there is no sun, so that can't be, but I have a new filter that shoots through the night, it shoots through the day, and it shoots into the area of space that I like to image. So I'll show you what I mean. I think they bought that. Okay, let me share my screen here. And I don't think we're on the right screen. So let's go here. And now we are. So this is the sun, a live view. And it is a piece of work. I enjoy imaging the sun. I want to, before I start moving around the sun and show you what's going on today, I want to show you a prominence or some activity on the rim that's going on. And so in order to do that, I need to raise my exposure to about 25, maybe 30 will work, and then the gain up to about 200. Here, let's go at maybe 175. So this is the activity, and I'd already put crosshairs on it because had I enough time, right now it's about 40 minutes until the sun transits the southern meridian and everything flips. So otherwise, if I had a couple hours, I would time-lapse this to show the activity on the rim. It's usually pretty impressive. If it's still going on tomorrow and I get up early enough to set this thing up, that's what I'll do. I'll image this tomorrow. It's been going on for the last 24 hours it came to be. But that's the only real and significant activity on the rim right now that I was able to see. I've already been around the sun one time before I went live, and so I kind of know what I'm looking for. But let's go back and kind of well, I'll tell you what, while we're overexposed, and by the way, when you're using the Quark Chromosphere or the Solar Scout, in order to get some images of the activity coming off the sun, you can get this by doing one of two things, and I'll show you both. One is you can overexpose, raise your gain. In my case, with the ASI 174 camera, I raised it to 177. It can be anywhere near there. And then my exposure is around 31 seconds. Well, I'm only taking 31 frames per second, but that's fast enough. Stacking software like Autostakkert will have no problem taking the 1,000 frames and putting them into an image, and so that works. But at any rate, let's just go ahead and take a travel around, and I'm going to use this virtual hand controller. I can use one of two. I have connected my mount to the software, so I can use this controller here. This has been set to 4 times sidereal, and this is 16 times sidereal, so it'll move a whole lot faster. So let's kind of go up, and we'll go this way, and see what's going on the rim. There's a little bump. Alright. Just got to come over here a little bit. Okay. Wrong way. Not paying attention to the controller. Okay. Still going the wrong way, and I am paying attention. Come on. Alright, now we want to go down. Well, this is new. So we have some activity here that can be captured. I think I'm going to want to bring my exposure down a little more and my gain up for that. No, let's bring my gain down and capture up. It doesn't matter. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But maybe 1,000 frames of this would bring out this pretty neat. Okay, and so let's go. See what else is cooking. There's a little, oh, this is interesting. This is new. Since about 2 hours ago when I first, I am interested in seeing now. Let's go back to, let's say, 11 seconds and 120 and see if there's anything on the surface of the sun that's worth looking at. Let's go ahead and take 1,000, a quick capture of 1,000 frames, and we're taking it 90 frames per second, so we're halfway there. It goes pretty quick. Okay, we're finished. And so let's go back up to 30 and 170 and let's go down some more and back kind of where we were. That's the doozy right there. And while I'm here, I'm going to take 1,000 frames of this one too. Let's stop about there. And I want to go back to, I want to go ahead and take, let's go back down to 12. Actually, let's go to 11 and 115. Let's see what our histogram looks like. That's good. Okay. And let's let's go ahead and knock off 1,000 here. Let's get some more of the sun in it. So let's bring the sun down a little bit this way. And I am going to need to let's get our camera controls back again and see where that prom is. Okay, it's not in the picture. I want it in the picture. So I need to bring it down east. And let's go south. Up north. It's not intuitive. Alright, that's a good bit of the sun, and that should not have any problems with the proms. Here they are with the, I don't know if those are proms or just some solar ejections. Don't really know enough about the sun. Also, I'm going to move my focuser. Let's close this out. And let's see if we can't get a little bit better focus. That didn't help. Let's go out. That's a little better. I think that's a little better still. That's a lot better. All right. So we're going to take a quick capture. And we're going to be capturing 1,000 frames. And then we're going to take a tour around the sun, take a look and see what else is there. And then I'll process one of these and show you how you can take both the surface and the sun, the body of the sun, as well as the rim activity, all in one exposure. Okay, now let's just kind of move around and see what else is going on. This doesn't look like a lot of activity. There's a little more on the other side. Here's a filament. Sometimes they're fun to image because they'll start over a period of a couple hours. You can see some movement in these, time-lapse wise. We have a sunspot on the other side, but it's kind of an unremarkable one. All right, we need to head over there. There it is. Let's see. Just curious to see if I'd like to be able to get an image with the sunspot and this filament and some activity on the surface. So let's keep our fingers crossed and turn on our cam control and see if we ram this up, if there's anything going on the rim. Nah, we're not so lucky. I'm going to go ahead though and take 1,000 frames with framed up this way. Looks like we lost some focus, but I think part of that's due to scene because it's kind of going back and forth, and that's what it does. Okay, we're done, and we're just going to forget the sun for a minute, and I'm going to bring up Registacks. And I'm going to select a picture. The first thing I'm going to do is before I select a picture, let me, I don't want Registacks right now. In fact, I don't want Registacks at all. Let's just get out of this. I want Autostakkert. Okay, and let's go under Image Calibration, and let's load our master flat. I took that a couple of days ago, and I'm going to trust my imaging train, which hasn't been moved or rotated, hasn't changed that much. Then I'm going to go to, take that back. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to show you how the master flat works. You won't see it if I do it this way. I'm going to go to File, Close, and Exit. And let's get out of and we don't need Registacks. All right, now let's go open up Autostakkert again, and let's open up the picture we're going to work with. And so we've got to navigate to my external drive. I use external drives that are ultra small. They're 1 terabyte solid state drives, SSD drives, and I just Velcro them to the back of my laptop, and I've used Dropbox, and I just don't like the time it takes to use Dropbox. So I like the fact that I have them on an external drive. That's what I use for all of my kits. But at any rate, it's this one's called Planetary, and the day was the 23rd. And so let's go to this image here, because this is where the prom is. And so as you can see, there's dust. There's dust. Let me bring this up just a little bit. But there's dust here and so forth. So I'm going to go to my calibration. I'm going to load my flat, and that will go away. So it's cleaned that up pretty nicely. Now I'm going to, I want to do the, I want to have surface checked, improved tracking, cropped, local, auto size, no double stack. We're going to analyze. It's going to take a second because this is a slow laptop outside that I'm working with. And while that's doing its thing, we're just going to wait. Since we're live, we don't have any choice. I guess we could go back to the sun, but in fact, we'll go back to the sun, and we might as well knock off another 1,000 while that's doing its thing. I moved it before it finished, but let's see if we got any activity here off the rim. So all right, let's stop right there. Be nice if we had some activity on the rim here. Nah. No, it's pretty quiet. So let's go back down to 100. Okie doke. And there's some garbage on the sun right there that was probably pretty active. Or probably will be pretty active before it finally moves across the sun. This is where our prom should be, and it is. So I'm going to take another, while we're waiting on the other, I'm going to take another quick capture, probably a couple of them. It's done. Let's do another. And while that finishes, let's bring up Autostakkert. And we're done. And it tells me that the way I understand this and interpret it is this is going to help me decide how many frames out of my 1000 that I will keep. And assuming every line on this bar graph represents one of the 1000 frames. And it's divided up with, this of course would be a fourth of the frames, or 250. This would be 50% of the frames and 75% of the frames as they start here and they end here. So it looks to me that if you drew a line across the 50% level here, that it looks like where it crosses, only about 25, maybe 30% of my pictures are above the line. That means they're above a 50% level of quality. I don't know what word to use. And 70% are below the 50% mark. So I think I could keep up to 30%, but I think I'm just going to keep 25. If I kept 25%, I'm only going to keep these frames here and here, just these right here. So those are the ones which would be about 250 frames. Let's just go ahead and keep 30. So I already got it set to 30%. Why don't we try 30% and 20%? We'll have two folders with 30% and 20% of the frames. So let's go ahead and place our grid. I'm going to set it to 104, which is what I typically use for the sun. I'm going to add a few out here because I know that activity is going on out here. And I'm going to stack. So this too is going to take a few minutes. And while it's stacking, it's going through its routine. Let's go back and see our sun. We might as well knock off another 1000. Again, this is a live view of our star. And the reason why I'm imaging this part of the sun, by the way, these are dust spots. And I remove those with flats. In fact, I'll show you now while Autostakkert's doing that, how I take flats. I'm going to take, it makes it easier to create one, so I'm going to take my hand controller and I'm going to fill the frame with the sun. So, wrong way. So we're going to go north, and then we're going to go east. No, we're not. We're going to go west, and we got to go north a little more. Okay, I filled the frame, and I want to lower my exposure so I have a pretty. I want the field to be illuminated, but not about like this. I don't want it to be blown out. Then I'm going to take my focuser. If I were outside, I would just defocus, and I'm going to take my focuser, and I'm going to change the course to 1000, and I'll just move out 1000 steps, and it defocuses. What I want to do is I want to defocus it to the extent that all you see are the dust and crud buildup on my optical train. Now I'm going to take about a 500. Oh, I want to label this flat. You don't have to. You can recognize it, but I like to label it. And then I'm going to take about a 500 frame. Let's go up here and pick 500. And this will be my flat frame. Okay, let's go back to Autostakkert. And we are done. But what you do is you go to your image calibration and you say create a master frame. And then I'm going to go to today. I used the prior one. And I'm going to go to flat. And I'm just going to call this, actually, wrong. I've got to open the file first. It's an AVI file. I've lost my mind, guys. And let's go back to today, and let's go to flat, and let's pick up the flat. And so here is my flat frame, and all I'm going to do now, you don't do anything but go to image calibration, and you put create a master flat, and I'm going to go down here to my date, write date, and I'll go to the flat folder, and I'm just going to call this master flat and save it. So the next time I can, and it's saving it, the next time when I image, I have a more up-to-date flat to use. And I'll show you. It's done, so I'm going to bring up another image that I took today. And this is the 23rd in the sun. Let's bring up this one. It has a lot of crud on it. And so let's make it smaller so you can see. Actually, it already has the flat loaded. It ain't gonna work that way. The flat's already loaded, so I'm gonna have to exit out and start all over to get rid of that flat. So let's bring up Autostakkert again. And we're going to open an image. And let's go to this because we've got a lot of sun surface to watch get fixed. Okay, there's the dust. And you want to see all the dust. All right, you see all the crap there. So let's go to image calibration, and we're going to load the master flat from today. And so here we are at the right date, 123, and there it is. And as we load it, whoa, what happened? Where is my, why didn't that disappear? Hang on a minute. Load master flat. Did I make it too dark? No, I didn't. Let's see what's the matter with my flat. Let's load master flat. Let's go back to the one I took on 110. No, that ain't gonna make a difference. It did, it removed it, but I don't understand that. My flat should have worked just fine. I'll have, well, that's how you do it. I don't know why it didn't work. And I know why. I'm live. That's why. All right, let's shut this down. We don't need it. And let's also rack it in 1,000 frames to get our focus back. So we're kind of back to where we were. Probably could use a refocus. Now, what I'm going to do is bring up ImPPG. And I'm going to go to File, Open, and we're going to go to Today. I do want to look at that flat. And in fact, let's look at it now. I want to know what's wrong with that. It didn't, the flat doesn't have any, I don't know what happened to my flat. It's just a blank screen. Okay, something happened in taking the flat. At any rate, let's go back and load an image we just processed. So we want to open. Let's go to Sun. We have two folders. We saved a stack in the 20% range, and we saved one in the 30%. And so let's just bring up the 30% one. And let's okay. Let's make sure we can see it. All right. Now, I got to move some windows that some of them you can see, some of them you can't see. But this is our curve. And before I do any sharpening, I'm going to set some anchor points here. I'm going to set one here. Then I'm going to grab it in the middle and I'm going to drag this up to about there. By the way, you can see what it's doing here, but it's not doing the entire image. It allows you to work on just part of the image because of processor speed. And but I'm going to go ahead and click Edit and select All, because even though it'll take a little longer processor speed, what I want to do is I want to get both the, I'm going to call this a prom. I'm not sure what it is, but it's this ejection off the sun's rim. I want that, and I want the surface of the sun to show. So I'm going to bring this up some and bring this up some. So even though I took an image of the sun and you couldn't see the prom in the original image, it's there obviously because I'm able to pull it out. And this makes it possible to image the sun and only the sun. If you know activity is going on, just make sure your exposure for the sun is right. You don't have to worry about exposing for the prom. But when you bring it into this software and you flip this curve, and the key right here is this first curve. You can also run an inversion, but I prefer doing this. And what will happen, this will be, once you colorize it, this black rim around will show really cool dark red, which isn't really what's going on the surface of the sun, but it's still cool, and I like that effect. All right. While you're in here, just like in Registacks, you can do some sharpening. So let's go ahead and run our sigma up a little bit more. And I'm paying attention to this area of the sky because this is what gets screwy. By the way, I need to run the flat again to get rid of that. But I'll do that in Photoshop if I decide to keep this image, and I won't. I'm going to bring up my unsharp mask, and how much I'm going to bring it up, I don't know. But you can see I'm getting some more detail now, both on the surface of the sun and on the prom. And you can play around with this as much as you want to where you're happy. Then I'll bring it into Photoshop and colorize it using either levels or curves, either one. Be sure to convert it to an RGB image at first if you're shooting a mono camera, and I am. Okay, well, I'm not saving this, just to give you an idea of how you can process a surface-only exposed image of the sun. Tell you what we are going to do, though. We're going to take another flat, and we're going to make sure it works. So I'm going to rack it out again, and I'm going to take a picture, 500 frames, and we're done. We're going to bring up Autostakkert, and I just want to look at that flat. Let me go back to solar, flat, and we should have, this is our second flat. Yep, all the stuff's there, so that's good. We don't analyze or anything, we're just going to flat, create a master flat, and I'm going to call this, let's save it in the right place. Let's go to here, and let's save it. We're going to call this MM, can't even spell MM. Okay, so we have a new master flat. It's not a real good flat because I like the exposure to be kind of even across. So what this is going to do on my image is it's going to have, this will be darker and this will be brighter. But at any rate, so I'm going to open another image and process it, and let's go to sun. Let's pick, see what else. We just took this one right here, so let's do that one. And you can see the crud. So let's go up to image calibration. Load master flat. Here's the MM master flat, and it should go away. There we went. They have no idea what happened the last time, but as you can see, it removed all the crud that was on there. So that's all, folks. I'm going to go back and play around taking some more images of the sun. This is my ultimate power box. It's 65 degrees out, but I doubt that's the case because the sun's shining on my sensor. And so when that happens, yeah, I don't pay any attention to the temp. But let's bring up our imaging software and let's rack it back in. And with that being said, thanks guys for watching, and if you can bring yourself to it and like what you see, don't forget to like. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Didn't think you'd see one of those, did you?